Hi everyone, today I'm playing Restart solo. And I know what I've said before, we don't usually play solo games, but sometimes you get curious and you want to travel through time alone. So that's exactly what we are doing today. The game is by Totum Game Studios, who have also provided us with this prototype copy. It is a prototype, so keep that in mind as you watch the components and the rules of the game. And it is currently on Gamefound, so go follow the campaign there, learn more about the game, and if you like what you see here today, also support the project. In addition to that, we have already done an unboxing and a 2-player playthrough, so if you are more interested in those, I will put the links in the description below, so that you can get a full view of the whole game. Without any further delay, let's go change the future. So, in Restart, we are time travelers, trying to change the events that led to a dystopian future. There are 4 dystopian futures to choose from, and in this game we are playing the Pandemia one, which is the easiest one, and it is suggested for your first game. The events that we're trying to change are represented by a deck of cards that is here. It's a huge deck of, I think, unique cards, and they have different colors, which help us create patterns, as you can see in these cards here, so that we can fulfill missions and improve the future. They have some icons here on the side that help us, if they are placed in our mind boards, in our personal boards, they help us build an engine and do more actions as the game progresses towards the end. And third, they have an action here at the bottom that is activated optionally if we place them in the time-space grid over here. This grid was created at the beginning of the game during the setup by placing event cards randomly in these spaces here. As you can see, all of these are cards. The rows represent time, and the columns represent space, so we will be moving around the time and space with our 2 figures, changing the events and hopefully improving the future. The game is played over the course of 3 rounds, and during each round we take a variable number of turns each, because it all depends on the mission cards that are placed here face down. These mission cards are the same with these mission cards. We just took 2 during the setup. They come in 3 levels, 1, 2 and 3. And as soon as this display here of 6 cards has 2 or less mission cards, we'll go into a time fault. We have a brief reset of the game and we keep going on. And we do this 3 times. When the 3rd time fault is triggered, we don't resolve it, we go straight into final scoring. There are no points to be gained during the game, and in final scoring we get points from completed missions, from completed objectives, from our progress on the corresponding dystopia, leftover adrenalines, and cards that we will have placed in our mind boards. Whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. The objective cards are randomly dealt at the beginning of the game from a small deck of objective cards, and whoever completes them can take them and take the points they have at the end of the game. The point icon, if you want to check around, is this yellow gold icon, hexagon with a number on it. The AI of the solo mode is called Chaos, and plays very similarly to an actual opponent. But of course, we have a system of deciding which action Chaos takes and how it completes missions. Instead of doing the exact patterns of the missions, Chaos wants to have 3 cards of the same color within a column. So that's why the missions of Chaos are face down here. We only take into consideration the level of the mission and not the exact pattern that we as players have to complete. During a turn, we have the option of 4 actions to take. Actually, in the very first turn, we have the option of 4 actions, because after that we cannot take the same action twice in subsequent turns. So essentially we have the option of the other 3 actions that are available to us. One of them is to place the action marker on our character, which also has a special ability here. I'll explain about this later. And improve our mind board by playing event cards onto the mind fields here. Then we have the perception field, which allows us to move the figure around the time-space grid, place events to create patterns and complete missions. This is the intelligence field that allows us to take actions according to the dystopia we have chosen for the current game. And finally, the memory field here allows us to take resources. There are 4 resources in the game: time tokens that help us complete missions. We have to pay them in order to complete missions. Adrenalines, fragments, both work in similar ways and are placed in these slots here in order to allow us to take actions from the event cards that we will have placed in our mind boards. And then finally, void tokens that temporarily change the color of a card on the grid so that we can complete missions. With that being said, I think we can get to the game and see all the details as we play. In solo mode, the human player always goes first, so I will take my first turn, and at the very beginning of my very first turn, I have to do two things. First of all, we start with 7 cards in our hands, and we can mulligan. We can throw away any number of them at the bottom of the deck and take equal number of new ones to replenish our hand. Based on my cards here, my mission cards and the actions on the cards, I think to be honest, I think I'm quite okay. I'll keep all the cards that I have here. I have a nice variety of colors and I like the action, so I'll keep my hand as it is. And the second thing I have to do is to place my child figure, the child figure of my character. It's the same character as a child and as an adult. The child is always placed in the first row of the time and space grid because it represents the past. The middle row is the present and the top row there is the future. As the game progresses, the child will move to the next row, and that's how we track the 3 rounds of the game that I mentioned earlier. So I have a choice of placing the child figure in any of the 3 spaces of the bottom row of the grid. There are actions that allow you to place events on the space of the child figure, but basically the child figure blocks your adult figure of going into the same space because the child version of yourself and the adult version of yourself cannot meet. Similarly, the 2 adult figures of the players cannot meet in the same space of the grid, so we block each other in that way as well. I think that I will place the child figure here, and it's now. That was part of the very first turn. I will not do it again in the future. I can simply take my first normal turn. I will place my action marker on the perception field here, and as you can see, I have 3 actions to take here at the bottom, which can be taken in any order. More of them may be unlocked in the future if I place a card here and fragments or adrenaline crystals here. The first action I can take, and that's the one I will choose, is the move action. And when we take a move action, we can move our adult figure anywhere on the grid, and the child figure in another space of the same row in which it is currently in. Based on that, I will move my adult figure on this space. And then the second action I can take is to place an event card from my hand in the space of my adult figure. So I'll take the blue card here and place it in this space up here. As I place a card, I can optionally activate the action that is shown here on the white border, which is to give 4 adrenaline fragments, and I'll do that, to take 1 adrenaline crystals, to take 1 fragment crystal. As I have mentioned, when you place fragment crystals on your mind board, you potentially activate actions in cards that have been placed in these fields. So I'm looking at the cards I have in my hand and the objectives here, and based on that I'll place it here in the middle to have it ready for a future card. These fragments and the adrenaline crystals also affect the actions of the intelligence field, which of course I will explain later. Now finally, with the third action, I can complete one of my missions. In order to do that, I have to have completed this pattern of colors anywhere in the grid. And as you can see here, I have a blue card, a green card and a yellow card in this column, so I have completed the pattern of the mission. So, since I have completed the pattern, I can pay 2 time tokens to complete the mission. I keep it face up in front of me because it will score points at the end of the game, and I also get a fragment crystal, a blue one, another one to place wherever I want. And the fragment crystals have to be placed at exactly the moment you gain them, so I immediately place it here to have some upgrades for the future for my character. And that was my turn. Now it's Chaos's turn. At the very first turn of the game for Chaos, the first thing it does is to take the top card of the event deck and place it on the corresponding field here. When you place an event card on your mind board to get access to extra actions, you have to match the symbol on the bottom left with the corresponding field on your mind board. So based on that, this card goes here, and it gives the opportunity for Chaos to gain extra actions and powers throughout the game. The second thing it does is to place the child figure in the middle space of the bottom row. And now it's time for its actual turn. We have a card here that helps us decide which action it wants to take, and we have conditions. If Chaos has one or fewer mission cards on its mission board, you go into the intelligence field, but we don't have that condition met. If Chaos has 4 or less time tokens, it would go into the memory field, but we have more than 4. So if Chaos has at least 1 mission cards in its mission board, place its action marker on the perception field. So this condition is met and we go into the perception field. When Chaos activates the perception field, it takes pretty much the same actions, but in a specific way and in a specific order. The first thing it does is to move. To move, it chooses one column, one of the columns that has exactly 2 cards of the same color, which in our situation here is the middle column and the right column here. And then from these columns, it has to have access to the odd colored card space. In this case, the adult figure of Chaos cannot meet with the child figure of Chaos, so it doesn't have access to this space here. So this column is not valid anymore, and based on that, we choose the rightmost column and place the figure in the odd colored space here. Because, as I said at the beginning, it wants all the cards of a column to be the same color in order to complete a mission. Now, the second thing it does is, similarly to a human player, to place an event card on the space of the adult figure. In order to do that, because Chaos does not have cards in its hands, we take cards from the display down here. Of course, it wants a blue card, and since this is the only blue card in the display, we take it and place it up here. Chaos does not activate the actions on the cards, it simply places them there to complete its missions. And now the place an event card action has been completed. The third action it can take is to fulfill a mission. And since it managed to have 3 cards of the same color in the same column, it can complete a mission. It always chooses to complete the higher level mission on its board, but now it only has 2 level 1 mission cards, so it completes one of those. It does have to pay the 2 time tokens that we all pay when we complete missions, but again, we ignore the pattern, and it places it face up here to score points at the end of the game normally, and also normally it takes a fragment crystal. Now, Chaos has a priority list over here on where to place the fragment crystals, but since currently it only has a card in one of the fields, it goes to the corresponding field because it wants to activate the extra actions over here. So that's how we choose where to place the crystal. Finally, we have to place a block token on the top of this column here, because it cannot use this column again to fulfill a mission because it already has used it until one of the cards changes color. So then the column gets unblocked and it can be used again by Chaos to complete missions and, take its actions. With all of that done, its turn is complete. At the end of each player's turn, human or AI, we replenish the display here so that we always have 3 cards available, and we check to see if we have 2 or fewer mission cards over there, which of course hasn't happened yet. So now I take my turn. I cannot stay in the perception field, I have to move elsewhere, so I have access to 3 actions at this point, and I will move here, which is the focus action, and it allows me to place one of the cards in my hands onto one of the mind fields, corresponding to the bottom left here. Because I have placed some fragment crystals here, I will choose one of the intelligence cards, and I think I'll do this one. So from now on, I also have access to this action here, and at the end of the game I will also score those points, but of course they don't do anything during the game. And that was my turn. Chaos now goes through the same sequence again, and it says that if it has 1 or fewer mission cards on its mission board, it goes into the intelligence field. Chaos cannot stay on the same field twice, as any human player would, but in this case, it moves here. This fragment does not give Chaos access to this action, so it can only take an A or B plan actions, which are named like that because they are different depending on which dystopia you have chosen for the game. So for the Pandemia dystopia, plan A and plan B correspond to track A and track B here. A corresponds to a virus and B corresponds to the cure of the virus. And we move our markers over those tracks in order to gain mission cards and points at the end of the game. To do that, we roll a bunch of dice. Based on the crystals and maybe potentially adrenaline crystals that we have placed on the cards, actually, when we set up the dystopia, we also take one of those sideboards here and place it underneath our main board. I have not done that for Chaos because it's the same board and I wanted to have some space here for the screen, that's all. Normally each player takes one. And based on the crystals that we have placed on the different minefields, we gain access to things here that allow us to manipulate the dice. So if we have crystals on the perception field, we get to set some dice on a certain side of our choice. Based on crystals on the intelligence field, we get to have extra bonuses from the star sides of the dice, and based on crystals on the memory field, we can reroll some of the dice. So now, Chaos has one crystal here. Also, Chaos never uses adrenaline crystals. It only gathers them for points at the end of the game, but human players can use them. But based on that, it gains access to one star dice side. That means that if it rolls a star, it will count as +2, but I'll explain how this works. But first, we have to choose whether it goes for a plan A or a plan B action. Chaos says, if the human player is ahead of Chaos in the plan B track, it activates a plan B. If not, which is the case here, it goes for a plan A. So it will roll for a plan A. That means that Chaos wants to roll virus symbols, the yellow ones. So it has one yellow and this star is a +2, so we have a total of 3 progress, but any cure roll negates 1-to-1 the steps that you win from the correct rolls. So that would be 3 - 4, a -1. The thing is that in any case, you always take at least 1 step forward. So even with a -1, it moves 1 space forward, and it's the green player, so it moves here. Since it reached a point with a mission card over here, it takes one of the mission cards from the display. Chaos always chooses missions with adrenaline crystals on them, which we'll see from round 2 onward. But for now, with the current situation there, it always chooses high-level mission cards. And as you can see there at the display, we have 2 level 1s, 2 level 2s, and 2 level 3s. So from those, it breaks the ties in favor of the rightmost one. So I'll take this mission card and place it on Chaos's mission board right here. With that, Chaos has completed its turn and it's time for my turn. I will go into the intelligence field here since I have activated an extra action here, and that action is to bury a card. Now, the boards here have a space underneath each field to bury cards. Burying can happen face up, in which case you take points based on the card on the side here if the corresponding fragments have been placed. As you can see, it's 1 level for each of these icons here. Or face down with a deep bury action, which always gives 2 points at the end of the game. This is a simple bury action, it is not a deep bury action, so in that case I can choose one of those cards and bury it underneath its corresponding minefield. And since I have some cards here, both of them I may need in the future though. But I have access to purple cards here, so I will bury this one in the corresponding field. And then I choose to take a plan A or a plan B action. And similarly to Chaos, I have 1 star to activate if I roll it. And I think I will go for plan A at the beginning as well. Okay, that's 3 + 2, 5 successes for me because I can activate 1 star dice side here. -2 is 3. So I move 1, 2, 3. I have surpassed a mission space there, so I can take a mission card as well. And I think I'll also take one of the level 3 ones. But I have to complete the pattern, so I turn it face up. And it doesn't look too bad. Okay. So that was my turn, and it's Chaos's turn. It does not have 1 or less mission cards. It does not have 4 or less time tokens. So since it has at least 1 mission card here, it goes into the perception field again. In the same manner as before, we are looking for a column with exactly 2 cards of the same color and a valid third space for Chaos's adult figure to be in. But in this case, this does not have exactly 2 cards of the same color. This does, but it doesn't have a valid third space for the miniature to go in because these two cannot meet. And this has 3 cards of the same color. So again, we have no valid column for the adult figure to go in. In this situation, we use those tokens that we have randomly placed at the beginning of the game in the 4 corners of the grid, and we turn the top card of the event deck face up. And since the color corresponds to that token up here, the adult figure moves into this space. So in this situation, it just doesn't move, and we discard the card. So that's its movement done. The second action is to place an event card. And in this situation, it says that if the Chaos adult figure is in a column on the space-time grid where at least 2 of the topmost event cards are of the same color, it tries to place an event card. And it would want to choose another blue card to place there, but since there is no blue card in this display here, we simply turn the top card of the event deck and place it up here. Now that this column does not have 3 of the same colors and 3 cards of the same color anymore, the block token is removed. And now we move on to the third action, which is to complete a mission. Now, technically Chaos does not have a column with all 3 cards of the same color, so that's where the void tokens come in play. As I said, we can place a void token to temporarily change the color of a card in order to complete a mission. So Chaos will use its void token to do exactly that. When using a void token to complete a mission, Chaos does not block the corresponding column, so it doesn't matter. We could place it here and turn this card into a blue card, or place it up there and take that card and turn it into a blue card. But in any case, the void token is only used temporarily in order to complete a mission, and then it gets discarded. So in that case, either this column or that column can be used to complete a mission, and we don't place a ban token because we did it with a Chaos token and not with an actual card. As I said earlier, it always tries to complete the highest level mission, and that's a level 3 mission card here, which costs 5 time tokens to complete, and it does have 5 time tokens, so it spends all of them and completes this mission, which gives a lot of points at the end of the game, and also a fragment as usual, which is placed in the same space as before because it wants to keep activating these actions here if possible. And that's its turn done. I will do something similar because I have a special ability here. I'll explain right away. And I will, first of all, move my action marker into the perception field, take a move action with my adult figure down here. Then I will do the second action, which is to place an event card in the space where I'm at. And with that, I am allowed to bury a card as before, and now it's going to go in this field. Do I want to do that? Sure, why not? Okay, I'll do this. Why not? And then my character says that when I use a void token, I can immediately use another void token from the general supply if I want to. So, with that pattern in mind, I now have this yellow card here, the blue and the yellow here, but I'm missing a blue here and a green there. So I'll use my void token to turn this into a blue, and based on my special ability, I can take another one from the supply and use it to turn this into a green. So with that, I do have a green, blue, blue and yellow, which means I can complete this mission card. Now that I did that, those void tokens go back into the supply, and I pay the 5 time tokens to get some points at the end of the game, and a fragment crystal, which I think I'll start placing here now. I have some objectives here. The first one says to have fragment crystals that reach or pass a berry action, and an adrenaline action, which appears in these cards here, but I don't have any of these cards in hand, so I think that's why I'll go here. Then this objective says that I need to have 12 or more adrenaline crystals in my personal supply, which is way far away. And then this says I have buried or deep buried 1 or more event cards underneath each mind field. And I currently have 2 out of 3, so I'm quite close to that. For the chaos to complete one of those objectives, it does not have to meet the conditions. It just happens when it cannot complete a mission if it goes into the perception field. We may see this later on in the game. With that, I have completed my turn and chaos goes again. And it says that if it has 1 or fewer mission cards on its mission board, place into the intelligence. Now, in the intelligence field, it has a berry action, and in order to do that, we simply take the top card of the event deck, turn it face up and bury it underneath the corresponding field. Here. And now we get to decide whether to take a plan A or a plan B action. I am not ahead of it in the plan B track, so it gets a plan A action. It can get the bonus from a star side, but let's see if it rolls any. That's 3 minus 3, 0, but again, it takes at least 1 step, so it moves 1 step forward. That's its turn done, and I have to decide what to do with my turn. I think it's time for me to get some resources, so I'll come here, and now have the option to take 1 time token or 1 card twice. Instead of that, I can forgo all actions of the memory field to get 1 void token. But in this case, I think I'll take this card because it's quite nice. It has the adrenaline action that we need for this objective. It has a nice action down here, so we'll see how we'll use it. And then I would like a yellow one, so I'll take 1 from the deck. Okay, nice. And we replenish the display at the end of my turn. Chaos. Again, it has 1 or fewer cards on its mission board, but it cannot stay on the intelligence field twice in a row, so this step is not valid. It has 4 or less time tokens in its supply though, so it goes into the memory field. In the memory field, for these options down here, it always chooses to get the time tokens and it never goes for the void token, so we simply take 2 time tokens and add them to its supply. And it's my turn again. Okay, this is not... I'll go into the intelligence field again. I can bury a card, which can be one of those, because then I will be able to complete this mission, this objective here. So, oh, I want those cards. I want both of them. I'll bury this one here. So now I have completed the requirements for this objective, but in order to take the objective, I have to move my adult figure on this space. So I have to go into the perception field for that. It's not immediately gained because I fulfilled the requirements, but I keep going with a plan A or a plan B action. And this time I will do a plan B because it's going to give me a mission card no matter what. Now, I have a fragment here, so I can lock one of the sides, one of the dice on the side that I wish, which is the cure. And then I roll, and if I roll a star, I will also get some bonuses. Nice. So that's 1, 2, 4 because of the star, minus 3 though, so that's 1. 1, 1. Okay. So there, and I can take a mission card. I don't have a lot of time tokens, as you can see, so I'll go for a level 1 because they are kind of cheaper. And place it here. Okay, that's not bad. I have the 2 yellow cards there. Let's see if the column will survive. Okay, that was my turn, and it's Chaos's turn again. It has 1 or fewer mission cards, so it goes into the intelligence. It buries a card as before, which goes into this field down here, and then it chooses a plan B this time around because I'm ahead on the plan B track. And it rolls the dice. Okay, that's 4 minus 3, so that's 1 step. It goes here, and it takes a mission card. We have 2 level 2 mission cards there, but it favors the one on the bottommost row, so it takes this one. And now its turn is done, And at the end of its turn, we only have 2 mission cards there, which is the trigger of the time fold. So, the first thing we do in the time fold is to take our adult figures back. The second thing we do is to move our child figures forward in the same row, column where we have been, but we move from the past into the present now. The third thing we do is to place adrenaline crystals on top of the mission cards that have not been claimed, equal to their level. So 2 adrenalines there and 1 here. And that's how I mentioned earlier that there might be adrenaline crystals on top of the mission cards. Then we replenish this space here with mission cards as before, so that we have 6 total. And this deck was created at the beginning of the game during the setup. It consists 6 level 1, 4 level 2 and 4 level 3 cards, which were randomly chosen from a pack of more mission cards. And we've done that. The final thing we do is to throw away these cards here and replenish the display. And I almost forgot, it's not the final thing, we also get fragment crystals. Now, the human player always takes 1 and places it wherever they wish. I'm trying to go for the objectives here. I'll go here and see what happens. The chaos player now has a choice. This is the moment where you decide the difficulty of the game. So far, the game is played always as it is. Now, if you want to play the easy mode, you give Chaos 1 fragment crystal. If you want to play a normal mode, you give it 2. And if you want to play the hard mode, you give it 3. I think I'll go for a normal mode and give it 2 free crystals. And both of them go here, because it's the only space with a card currently, which means that in any order, the priority is to get more actions here. With that being done, we keep going from exactly where we left, and it was the end of Chaos's turn, which means that I take my turn now. And I think... Okay, I don't have time tokens to complete a mission or to play event cards, but I have completed this objective and I think I want it. So I'll go into the perception field, I'll do my move action into this space here and take the objective. Taking the objective is a free action during the perception action field if your figure is over here, and you can only take it if you have fulfilled the requirements, which is to have buried or deburied 1 or more event cards underneath each mind field, so I can take the objective. The objectives are placed in the same way the mission cards are placed into the mission board. And now it's time to mention that the mission board has a limited space for 3 cards. If at any point I have to gain a 4th card, I have to discard one of those. If I discard a mission card, I place it face down right here, and it scores negative points at the end of the game based on its level. 1 point for a level 1, 2 points for a level 2, and 3 points for a level 3. If I discard an objective card, it simply doesn't give me the corresponding number of points at the end of the game. But now I get quite limited on the mission cards that I can take, because I know I now have a blocked space because of the objective card that I took. And technically I could play an event card on the grid, but I cannot play an event card in this space where my adult figure is, and I would be able to complete a mission, but I don't have any pattern ready or time tokens to pay for. I just came here to take the objective card because I didn't want the Chaos player to take it from me. So that's my turn. And it's time for Chaos's turn. It does not have 1 or less or fewer mission cards, but it does have 4 or less time tokens, so it will go into the memory field and simply take 2 time tokens. Of course, if you are experienced enough, you can kind of predict its movement and see what it can do, but it felt weird now because I can technically complete this objective at some point, and it was a lot of planning ahead to do, so that's why I took this decision. And it's my turn again. I need time tokens, so let's do that. Do I have any? No, that's But before I go into the memory, I think I'll go here and play this card here for the future, to have these actions available in the future. That was my turn. Chaos does not have one or fewer cards. It does have 4 or less time tokens, but it's already on the memory field here. So if it has at least one card there, it goes into the perception field. And first we determine the movement. We have 2 columns with exactly 2 cards of the same color, and the odd colored space is a valid space for the adult figure now. So we want to do a tiebreaker to decide whether we go for the middle column or for the rightmost one. In order to do that, we simply flip a card, the top card of the event deck, and check the color. It matches this token, so we go to the column that is closer to this token, which is the middle column. And we move the figure here. Now it wants to play an event card in a way that would complete the column with the same colored cards, and we do have a blue card here. It plays the card, it never activates the action. And finally, it wants to complete the mission, and it has the column with the 3 cards of the same color done, so it always chooses the higher level mission that it can pay for, and it can pay the 3 time tokens for this one, so it does. And then we take a fragment crystal and place it here. Finally, we place the block token up there to remember that this column was already used, and its turn is done. Now, I will go into the memory field and I'll show you how the adrenaline crystals work. At any point, the human player can choose to place an adrenaline crystal similarly to a fragment crystal, and just for this turn, it temporarily activates the actions that correspond to on the card. So I will place an adrenaline here, and in addition to those actions down here, I can also take an extra card. Similarly, if you place adrenaline crystals during a plan A or a plan B action, you can activate more of those benefits down here for the dice. Now, I can take a card. I forgot to replenish the display here, so I should have done that. First of all, from down here, I will take 2 time tokens because I need them to complete any of the 2 missions that I have available. And then I will take a card to see... Yeah, I need a green card, but none of them is nice. I don't like their actions, but anyway. Yeah, let's take this one in case we place this one on the field there. So that was my turn done. Replenish the display, and Chaos's turn. 1 or fewer cards in its mission board, so it goes for an intelligence action. And now, first of all, it takes a berry action, so we will discard and place it underneath here, trying not to. And then it takes a plan A action, a bonus one, because it has a lot of fragments on this column here. For a plan A, it only has stars to activate, so let's roll the dice and see what happens. Ooh, now we have 3 plan A rolls. We have 2 stars, which both of them are a +2 because it has enough fragment tokens to activate 3 stars. It only rolled 2 though, because now it has a lot of fragments. As you can see here, based on the number of fragments, it gets to activate more stars, and it's the same for the other things as well, for the rerolls and the sides that you can set to a certain value. When you set dice, I forgot to say, you cannot set them to a star. You have to set them to either the cure or the virus side. So this one negates one of those, and we have 2, 4, 6 steps on plan A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It takes a mission card, always chooses the one with the most adrenaline crystals, so it takes this one. It's a level 2. And now it normally moves and gets a plan A or plan B action from underneath here, and since I'm not ahead of him on plan B, it will take another plan A action. So we go for the yellow icons again, and that's a lot. 3, 4, one of them gets negated, so that's 5 total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, as you can imagine, being ahead on those tracks at the end of the game will give points, so I should rush on plan A and try to catch up with it, but We'll see if that's possible later on. Its turn is done, so it's my turn again. I should have thrown away this adrenaline earlier. I just do it now. It's active only for one turn. And now I think that I will do a perception. Move my adult figure here. Play one of the green cards, which... yeah, okay. I'll play this one. And the action allows me to place another event card anywhere on the grid, but I don't get to activate its action. And I think I'll place this purple one up here because I have the second mission here that wants a purple, yellow and yellow, so I may start preparing for that if Chaos allows me to. And I have moved, I have placed an event card and activated the action, and now I can complete a mission. That should be here, which is this one for a yellow, yellow, green with 2 time tokens. And I get one of those to place here. And that was my turn done. Chaos does not have 1 or fewer mission cards, but it does have 4 or less tokens, time tokens, so it goes into this and gets 2 time tokens. Okay, my turn again. What do I want to do now? I will go fast for the next mission, so I'll come here. With these 2, I'll take 2 time tokens so that I can complete the mission, and with that I'll take the yellow card from here that I need for this mission and replenish the display. Okay, Chaos, it doesn't have 1 or fewer cards. It does have 4 or less time tokens, but it is already on the memory, so since it has at least 1 mission card, it goes into the perception. Now, it has no valid column to move in because I am blocking this space in this column. The 2 adult figures can never meet, and the other ones do not meet the color requirements. So we simply flip the top card. It's a blue one, and it moves up there. It does not have a void token in order to use to complete a mission, and it cannot use this column to complete the mission because it's blocked. So it is not possible for Chaos to fulfill a mission. In that case, as I mentioned before, the first thing it does is to gain a void token, and the second thing it does is to gain one of the objectives. Now we have 2 objectives available here. As I said at the beginning, it does not have to meet the requirements, it simply gains the corresponding objective, and as usual we decide which one based on the colors from the top card here. It's a blue one, so it's on this side, and it takes this one, which is good for me because I would never have completed that, but I may complete this one. And normally it places it in its mission board there. And similarly to a human player, it is now full on the mission board, and if it gets more cards, it has to discard cards in the same way a human player does. I did forget to do this though, to play an event card. Apologies, it should have been movement, play an event card, and then complete a mission. So it doesn't change the situation though, because it is in a column with at least 2 cards of the same color, and it would want to take a card of the same color and place it in its space. It doesn't activate the action, so nothing changes as far as the rest of the turn goes, but it was my bad. I should have done those in order. Now its turn is complete and we replenish the display. And I just realized that I messed up because I took the yellow card earlier, but I cannot place my adult figure here because that's where the child is, and I don't have an action to place an event card or where the child is. I cannot get the card with that action either, so I can't fulfill this mission. So let's change our plan and move into the intelligence and see if we can move on the track. I can bury a card. Do I want to keep the yellow card? No, it's fine. I'll place it down here. There is a potential for points at the end of the game with that, so let's do that. And then I will choose a plan A action. So I can set one of the dice to the right side here. I cannot choose a star with that manner. I will roll the dice, and if I roll a star, I will take the +2, and then I can also re-roll one of the dice. So let's see what happens. I don't want to re-roll any, so that's the perfect situation for me. That was a cool, nice roll. So that's 2, 4, 6, 7. Nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I passed the card with a mission, and let's see. I think I'll take this one with the adrenaline. Here. And that's my turn done. Okay, again, based on that, I don't need to keep repeating them now. I guess you get the idea. It needs time tokens, so it goes into the memory and takes 2. And now it's my turn again. I only have one card here. I need resources. I do have the 2 time tokens, and I will either come, I'll come here, and I can either do all these or get 1 void token, which, because of my ability, is like taking 2 void tokens. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, let's take a void token. So that was my turn done. Chaos, not this, not that, so it goes into the perception. It's the same situation as before. It cannot move here because I'm here and blocking the space, and the other columns are not valid. So let's see where it moves. Into the green. That's blocked, and because that's not valid, we move on clockwise order into the next valid space. And now, the column where the adult figure is does not have at least 2 cards of the same color. So it says here, in any other case, instead draw the top event card from the event deck and place it in the space where the adult figure is. So it just ruined my mission here, but it's fine. I took a void token, and that happens, and then it tries to fulfill a mission, and since it now has a void token, it can place it either here for 3 green or here for 3 yellow, and it doesn't block the column, the void token, so it simply uses it temporarily, so it gets discarded, and it can complete one of the 2 missions. Always goes for the higher level one, so it spends 3 time tokens, and gets a fragment, which it will place up here for the 2 points. That's its turn done, and it's my turn, and I will go here. And now, for the human player, these actions can be taken in any order. So, the first thing I'm going to do is to place the void token. I have options, it's okay. I'll place it up here. And then, because of the character's ability, I take another one and place it here. So that can now be... No, you know what? I won't do this mission. I'll do this mission. I'll place these here and do a purple, yellow, and yellow because of the void tokens, which now get discarded. I'll pay the 2 time tokens, place the card here, and take a fragment, which I will place here. And now I have done the 3rd action. I can technically place an event card here if I want to, but I don't want to because, no, it doesn't benefit me in any way. But I can move my adult figure now, and I'll move it down here because I have fragment crystals that reach or pass a berry action and an adrenaline action, so I can take the objective. So that's nice, and I place it here. I am even more limited in the amount of mission cards I can have now, but these are 9 points at the end of the game, so yeah. And it's in 2 players, in solo, because you only have 1 opponent. It's not even these, if I didn't take these points, Chaos might have taken them, so it's a lot more points than that. So I'm quite happy with that. Chaos does have 1 or fewer mission cards in its mission board, so it goes into the intelligence. First, it buries a card. Here. Then it takes a plan A action. Oh, that was good for it. So that gets cancelled. So we have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It didn't quite reach the mission space there. And then again, it takes another plan A action because I am not ahead in the plan B. So The star is valid because of the crystals here, so it's 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it takes a mission card, always the highest level 1, always on the right. So there is that, and its turn is complete. It's my turn again. I don't know if I want to move up on the track zone or go for missions. There's no time for everything. Yeah, okay, but if I take another mission card, I don't have a place to place it. So I'll come here, take 2 time tokens because I need them anyway to fulfill this mission. Take an adrenaline crystal and a card, which is going to be, I would want purple cards. And there are 2 here, but I don't like any of them. I'll take this one for now. No, I'll take this one. Okay, so I'm trying to get ready. I replenish the display. And chaos, not this. Yeah, it goes for time tokens and it takes 2. And then I will go into the intelligence and I'll try to make sure not to reach another point, just to gain some momentum, you know. I will do, first of all, I can bury a card, which is going to be this one because it gives a point at the end of the game already. And then I will go for a plan A, I think. Yeah, I can set a die here. Okay, that's 3, 5, it's 4 for now. I can re-roll this die based on that, but let's say it rolls a star. That then would be 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's no way for me to get another mission card, so I'll re-roll it. Why not? Perfect. So that's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I didn't waste a mission card, but I'm almost there whenever I need one. That's my turn done. Chaos. Not this, not that. So it goes into the perception. But now I have moved, so there is a valid column for chaos to move in because it has exactly 2 colors and this space is a valid movement. And it wants to place a yellow card there, so it will place this one. And it can complete a mission based on that, which is going to be this one with 3 time tokens. Okay, so that's its turn done. I have to place a block token up there and a fragment because it completed a mission. Now, because it's done with these actions and the points here, it always goes from left to right. So we start filling this column here, which does not activate any extra actions, but it can potentially give points based on the buried cards underneath the field here. And it also empowers the rolls because of these abilities down here. So now its turn is done and it's my turn. I need even more resources, so I'll go here. I forgot to replenish the display here. So now, well, I need purple card. No, I'll take a void token, because then I can fulfill this card later. Yeah, I forgo all the actions to get a void token. The void tokens with the sailor are powerful, so let's do that. Chaos has 1 or fewer mission cards, so it goes into the intelligence field. It buries 1 card here. And then it activates a plan A. It can set a die because of this fragment here now. Wow, that's 4, 5, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it gets a mission card, which is always the highest level 1. We know that at the end of its turn, we're going to go into a time fault, but it still has 1 action to play. And I'm not ahead on plan B, so it's a plan A again. And it doesn't have any rerolls, so these cancel out, and that's a 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm not really very optimistic about the result of this game, but let's see what happens. I feel like I'm getting destroyed, you know? Yeah, time fault. First, we get the adult figures back. Then we move the children ahead, and this indicates that we are in the final round of the game, the future. Then we add adrenalines on these cards here and replenish that display. I don't remember the order, but it doesn't matter. Here, so the deck ran out. Then we also discard these cards and replenish this display. I didn't see what it was. If you did, it's fine. And finally, we get fragments. I only get one, which, where do I place that one? I could check and see, I guess. I'll place it here. Yeah. And Chaos takes 2 and places them here. And that's the time fold done. It was at the end of its turn, so it's my turn now. I move into the perception. I use a void here and one from the supply because of the ability here. So I can do a purple, blue and purple. So I discard those. Pay the 2-time tokens. Add the card here and take a fragment and place it here. So I can get more actions here now, hopefully. And that was my... No, I have the movement and the play an event. I'm not sure if I want to move somewhere. I would technically want to do it to block him, but I can't go here because it's... the child is blocking me, so I'll stay here. I won't do the movement for now. I could prepare for the future though, because the movement can also be used to move the child, so I can unblock myself. Let's move it here to hang out with the other one. This is allowed, by the way. And yeah, then maybe in the future I can move the adult there, who knows. That was my turn. That's not true. Yeah, it goes for time tokens. Let's take 2. And then I will, first of all, I'd like to get another mission card, so I'll camp here. I can bury a card, so this is very unlikely to give me a point at the end, so I'll keep it just in case I'll need a green, or I'll decide after I do my actions here. First of all, I have a plan A, so I set a die, I roll the rest. These are nice. And I can also reroll this one based on this. It didn't do anything, so that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I can get one of those cards. I'll take this one, take the adrenaline, and the card. It's a purple, blue, and blue. And I just blocked myself over there with my child figure. Okay. And I can get another action. If I take another mission card, I'll have to discard one, which is not great. So I'll go for a plan B. I can set a die and roll the rest. Okay, this could be valid. If they are, it's 2, 4, 5. No, that's currently 4. Let's reroll this. No, 2, 4, 6. 6. What if I roll something good? I will reroll one of them. Can I do that? I'm not sure if I can do that. Okay, check the rulebook. I can reroll up to, so I can choose however many I want to reroll. I will only reroll 1. Is that good? That's not great. I have, no, it's 4. Yeah, okay. With 4 fragment crystals here, I only get to gain 2 of the stars. So that was good, after all. It's 2, 4, 5, 6, because that's not negative or positive. So I had this one, which I didn't reroll. This one, which I didn't reroll after all. So in total, that's 5. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And now I could decide if I want to bury this card. And since I don't need any greens, I'll do that. Who knows? Okay. Chaos, not that, not that. So it goes into the perception. It has one valid column to move in, so it will go up here, and it wants a green card. Now that we have 2 green cards, we still break the ties in the same way as always. Check the card, and so it goes for the leftmost one. I'll replenish at the end of the turn. And it completes another mission with 3 time tokens. Takes a fragment, places it here, and blocks this column as well. At the end of the turn, I replenish this, and I come here. I'll take 2 time tokens. Oh, that's nice. The 2 time tokens. No, that's not nice. I got, yeah. 1 adrenaline. And it's not enough. It's never enough. Okay, let's take this one. So I replenish. Okay, so chaos goes for an intelligence action. Buries a card. Here, plan A. Now it can set 2 dice, and it goes for a plan B because I'm ahead, so these 2 are fixed, and rolls the rest. So these as well, but these cancel out. Okay, so that's 3. 1, 2, 3. And since I'm still no, sorry. It should have done a plan A first. It doesn't matter, I did this first, sorry. And this is fixed plan A, so it sets these 2 and rolls the rest. Wow. Okay, these are valid, so that's 2, 4, 6, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it gets a mission card, always the one with the adrenaline. And now I messed it up a bit, but it buried the card, it did a plan A and a plan B because I was ahead. So it's my turn. Okay, I'll do this and play this card here. And then it's not that, it doesn't have any time tokens, so here for 2 time tokens. And I will go back here, get an adrenaline. I do have the 2 time tokens, so now I can take a purple card, which I need for the mission there. And then I can also take, I'll also take 2 time tokens just for later because I don't know what cards I need right now. So 2 time tokens, a card and an adrenaline, and that's my turn done. I replenish here, and one of you are nope. So perception, no valid column for the adult figure, so it moves according to the card here. So it doesn't move, it's in the yellow. It wants to do a same color card up there. That replenishes at the end of the turn, and it cannot fulfill a mission because all columns are invalid. So it gets a void token and an objective which does not exist anymore. That's the turn. So that's done. I go into the perception, and now I have 2 movement actions here, which is exactly what I wanted because I want to move the child figure out of there and who knows, maybe here. And then with the second movement, I place the adult figure here, which is now allowed. With this, I play an event card here, and I don't have a card to bury, so I complete the mission. With 2 time tokens, I take this one. Where do I want to place it? These are already points that I get. And this already, so yeah, let's do here. And now this card no longer has the same color, so the block token goes. And chaos. Nope. Yeah, so here for 2 time tokens. And then I will go and take a mission card, or hopefully not two. So I can bury a card which I don't have. I can do a plan A, so I can set a die and roll the rest. And that's 3 movement unless I re-roll. 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what? A level 1 card is -1 point, so I'll go for it. Try to advance as much as possible at least. Okay, so that's 2, 4, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll take a level 1 because it's very likely that I will discard it and see if I want to or not. Why not? The pattern is not great, so I'll do a plan B now to gain some momentum there, at least on the tracks. No, I can only set 1 die. Did I set 2 dice earlier? I don't think so. So let's do a plan B. If I take another card, the game ends. Is that good? I have no clue. Let's do it anyway. Plan B. A plan B. I can reroll 2 of those dice. Okay, so I only move once, which is horrible because I didn't get to the milestone here to get the 7 points. Good job. It doesn't matter which card I take now, I'll take one of the big ones because I can discard this one, which only gives 1 negative point. Wait, this is the same space for the milestone and the card, so I don't get the card. No one saw it, right? Doesn't matter, I think it was somewhere here. Okay, so I don't trigger the game's end in that way. Okay, chaos. Not this, not that, so it goes into the perception. And now, technically it has a column here that it wants to fulfill, but I am there blocking him, so the movement will be based on the card, which is a purple one down here. And he plays an event card here, there's no green card here, so we take a random one from the deck, which unblocks this column as well. And now, because it has a void token, it places it either here for a green or there for a blue. We place no block token, so we fulfill one of the level 1 missions here and 1 fragment here. Okay, yeah, we did everything. My turn again. I come here, technically I still have this mission card because, you know, I didn't discard it earlier. So, is there any chance I can complete that? I would need 2 cards to do that. Maybe with this ability. I also have access to a movement and place a card in the child space, but I don't have green card available here. So, I have the time tokens. So, I'll take this card, which has a pretty good ability. I'll take 2 more from the deck, hoping for at least 1 green. Okay, and then I'll take an adrenaline as well. Okay, so chaos does an intelligence. I forgot to replenish, so it buries this one here. And then does a plan A. It can set 3 dice now. So for a plan A, that's those 3, and rolls these. I moved myself here. That's 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then it can do a plan B because I'm ahead and it doesn't like it. It sets 3 dice like so and rolls the rest. Okay, these cancel out, and that's 2 movement. And it also takes a card from here, so that happens, and the game's end is triggered now. Because we went into the 3rd time fault. I didn't forget anything here, no, so that's the game's end. It ends immediately as soon as the 3rd time fault gets triggered. So these cards are not relevant anymore. I want to make space to count the points here, so I'll clean up a little bit after myself. Let's do that. Let's take a score sheet here, which these are hours. You can also take them through our newsletter if you want to sign up for that and get the free PDFs. But the prototype does not have a score pad. I think the game will have one, though. I think so. So today is May 1st. The game is Restart. Solo. Pandemia. I am Myrto. And we have Chaos as well. First we score the mission cards, which for me, these are not negative points, they just stay there. 4, 8, 12, 16, 29, 33. And the same for our Chaos player. 4, 11, 18, 25, 32, 30, 45, 49. Then we have the objectives, and I have fulfilled those two for 9 points. Chaos has this one for 3 points. Then we have these event cards here, events. Now, I don't think we did any deep berry cards, which would be face down and would score 2 points each at the end of the game. But for the simple berry cards, or the ones that we have placed up here, we score points based on the fragment crystals that we have placed here over the course of the game. We cannot use adrenalines for that. We only use the fragments that we have placed, and we score the points only if there is a fragment crystal that corresponds to the space with the points. So for me, that does not give any points. Not that. They were too high, all of them. So these are 0, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 here, 7, 7. That's 7 points for me. These are definitely 0 because there are no fragments here. This is 1, 3, 5, 6, 8, 8. Then we have the remaining adrenalines, which for me is 7, and for Chaos is 9. And finally we have the tracks. First, plan A. And now, here, for plan A, for both plans, we have milestones. So you score the highest milestone that you have passed or reached. For me, that's 15 points. And then for Chaos, that's 21 points, but it also scores those 2 points here because it's ahead on the track. The first player, the player that's ahead on the track, also scores the points on the corresponding sector here. So it's 21 plus 2, 23. And similarly for plan B, none of us has reached the milestone, so we both get 0, but I also score those 8 because I'm ahead in the track. So that's 8 for me and 0 for Chaos. And that's it. So the total is 8, 13, 20, 27, 36, 39, 3, 4, 79 for me, and I shouldn't have written that here, obviously. Oops. That's down here, 79, and 3, 12, 20, 23, 32, 3, 5, 92. Okay, it looked worse than that during the game, honestly, and Chaos won. Unfortunately, you left the future in my hands and I failed you. So, that was the normal mode. It has an easy mode and it has a hard mode as well. And yeah, I hope I didn't do any huge mistakes that I didn't correct, at least, because I often messed up, but I think I went back and fixed my mistakes. So hopefully everything was done correctly. If I spot any mistakes during the editing, I will put text on the screen so that you don't get confused. And if I get any corrections from the designers, I will put them in the comments or in the description. So look out for those if you are very interested in the exact rules of the game. Most of it is obviously correct, and that's how the game flows. So if you're interested in that, go check the game on Gamefound. It is currently live and it has quite a few days left, so check it out, see if you are interested. As I said at the beginning, we have an unboxing video and a 2-player playthrough if you want to get a better idea of how the game works. And yeah, also, as I said at the beginning, we have 3 more dystopia choices to play with. And the first one is here at the back of the board. Here, it's a more strategic choice for the game. As you saw, Pandemia has a lot of luck involved, but it is the easiest one, and it helps you get ease into the rules of the game because you have to learn everything else as well. There is one that resembles not a roll and write, but it has a pad that you write on, and the fourth one comes with some cards, DNA cards, I think they are, and you make set collections with those. So you have 3 more choices that change the side quest and situation of the game. Only these actions change, basically, and the way you score at the end of the game for that, but the core of the game always remains the same. The game also has a season mode, which is a set of 5 games in a row that you can play and go through them and create a sort of a short campaign. And I think that's all. If you want to get the score sheets, go sign up for our newsletter. We don't spam, we only send one at most 2 emails per month just to update you on what's going on in our lives and our videos and the games. And yeah, I think that's all. Thank you for joining me in my almost first solo game in the channel. There may be more coming, who knows? So let me know what you think. Let me know if you like the game, and I hope to see you in the next one. Remember to subscribe so that I can see you in the next one, and leave a thumbs up before you go if you enjoyed the video. That's all. See you next time. Bye.